That's why being a leader is so attractive, because that person is authentically themselves. People are just magnetized towards people that are authentic. So that's why they always say, if you want something, let it go. Outside pressure, just get it out of the way. Have blinders on, go on a straight path, and if you have a speed bump, know how to talk yourself out of it. And why are you giving them the power to be the judge of your life? I know. Hey guys, welcome to Self-Care Sundays with Sophia, where we talk about self-love, self-growth, and everything in between. Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to be attractive, basically by not caring or trying too hard. So the first thing I want to say about this topic is I want to give you a visual of a rubber band, and I think there's like a theory behind this, but basically anything in life, it's kind of like a rubber band. The more you pull on it, the farther away the thing that you want is going to get. And if you pull and pull on something enough, the elastic band will break. Or if you let go, basically immediately it'll snap back and you'll bounce to that thing. So that's why they always say, if you want something, let it go and it'll come to you. Not always, but for the most part, yes, it will come back to you. If you have your mind on something and if it's meant for you and it's meant to be, it'll snap back, just like the rubber band theory. So we're going to be talking about resistance and stuff like that. Really it's kind of like anything in life. When there's a fine line between being motivated and determined to get something versus being desperate and needing it to fill you up. The whole beauty of this is you have to be whole on your own before getting that thing, because if you're relying on that thing to fill you up and give you happiness, it's gonna know. It's like a universal law. It's not just with human beings. You know how when somebody's just trying too hard and they're so desperate, and it's like it's past the line of motivation and determination, because those two things are an attractive quality, especially in men, right? When they have their eye on something and they're motivated to get it, but they don't necessarily need it, otherwise they're gonna die. You know what I mean? So there's a fine line between that. You have to be completely okay with yourself and on your own. If you need something outside of you to give you validation, that is telling the universe and everybody around you that you don't trust your own opinion. And that means you're not confident, and that's not necessarily attractive. It tells others that you don't believe in yourself. There's like a common normal within society, whether it's fashion trends or just how you are or where you want to go in life. There's certain things that it's just like a societal norm. However, if you crave that outside validation too much, you're not going to have a happy life, because you're building your life based on the opinions of others. And this new generation, like ours included, or however old you are, I'm a millennial, but it's based on likes. And I myself, as an influencer, I've been doing this for 10 years now. And yeah, I'll admit that sometimes the level of likes, it'll fully affect my self-esteem, which is not good, but hey, we're human. But that just kind of reminds me of having to do things a certain way, or when you're in high school, the things that are considered cool or not. If you crave that too much, you're not going to become authentically yourself. You're going to be confused. You're going to build a life based on what you think you should do, even like needing, the approval of your parents, or building your life. Okay, they said that I'm supposed to be a lawyer, so I'm going to be a lawyer. And then you wake up one day, you're 25, and you're like, I don't want to do this. You're doing a disservice to yourself if you're following what everybody else is doing. That's why being a leader is so attractive, because that person is authentically themselves and they don't necessarily care what the general crowd is doing. But there's a reason why it became normal or cool. It's because everybody started following somebody who decided that this was for them, and they seemed so cool and attractive doing it that others just wanted to follow that. It is human nature in a way, because we learn from each other, but how do you think trends start? Somebody started it. So why are you letting the outside world dictate if what you're doing is acceptable or cool or not? Who makes that up? Just some random person. That's how trends start. So if you really crave the outside world's approval, or that gives you that fix or that boost of confidence, you're not going to be authentic to yourself. And there's nothing more attractive than somebody that is authentically, unapologetically themselves. Even if it's like, okay, I've met certain people, we don't really have a lot in common. You know, our styles are different, our ways of life are different, but I'm a Gemini. I love to talk and I'm an extrovert naturally. I do have my moments where I need to reset, but I can enjoy conversations with the types of people that are so unapologetically themselves and that they're confident and they don't get offended if I live my life a different way because they're okay with themselves. They don't need to prove to me. It's kind of like the woke culture, people that get offended or triggered by something because essentially you're not okay with yourself. It bothers you that I don't approve of this thing that you do. Why can't we just come together and respect that everybody has their own opinion? That's what makes us different human beings. Respect that and let's agree to not go there if we know we don't agree. But we can be okay with having a healthy debate so that I'm happy to hear other people's opinions because maybe I could change my mind, or it's just interesting to get somebody else's perspective because nobody's right at everything. There's many different ways to do things in life. There's millions of different ways to cook spaghetti. There's millions of different ways to do your hair. Not everybody is right. They all are successful ways of doing that. So if we can get inspiration from each other, but not necessarily like follow them and, okay, like screw everything I'm thinking, I look up to them, so I'm just going to do what they do. That's like something that we do when we're children and, you know, following our parents because we trust them. But as we grow up and get older, we morph into our individualism, if that's a word, and we got to start trusting and going with our gut and what works for us because you're the only one experiencing this life. You're the one that feels the emotions. So why wouldn't you do things that make you happy? I love that saying. I saw it the other day on Instagram, but I've seen it many times. It's, you are the universe expressing itself as a human being for a short period of time. I don't know if that's exactly how it goes, but it's so true. We all are absolutely connected. And this is just a body, a vessel that you're going to play this game of life in. But why wouldn't you cater towards you? And okay, so sorry, the topic of this video was mostly about how to stop caring what others think. And when we're in that situation and somebody does something that maybe triggered us or, you know, we're upset about something, it's because we care what they think. And there's a line where, yeah, you don't have to necessarily stop caring what everybody thinks. You can take it with a grain of salt and understand their perspective so that you can grow and look at yourself more. However, if it truly, truly disturbs you and upsets you, that tells me that you don't trust you're not exactly okay with yourself 100% because it's if it triggers you, it's probably like poking at a secret belief that you have about yourself. So why not? Let's try and fix that. And anyway, so my point is, when you are in a situation where you're triggered, you're upset, somebody said something to upset you, or, you know, you're caring too much what other people thinks, you are just worried about the outside world. Okay, I just gave you a hint. The outside world. We don't need to worry about that. That's where we got to pull our energy back and look within and just focus on yourself. I know that's so much easier said than done, and learn to love yourself before you learn to love somebody else. We've all heard it before. However, it is something that is a skill that's going to build over time. You're not going to immediately get that quick fix and just suddenly stop caring what people think. It's healthy to a point, to, you know, a little bit to care what people think because we're all in this together. We're all just human figuring out this game of life together. So you can care, but don't let it break you because that tells me that you're not really okay with yourself. And the way to be okay with yourself is to work on your self-love and bringing it all back to yourself. Stop listening to the outside noise. That's where you got to get spiritual with yourself and do all of your self-care practices, whether it's even just meditation, but quieting the outside noise and really, really, really being present with yourself so that you can know what you want. I came across, okay, this is in regards to dating. I have recently, probably in the last few years, but like really recently, I had an experience where I was dating somebody and I just, you know how you go to your friends or family for advice? I don't really believe in dating advice when it comes to like a certain scenario. You can have general dating advice, but for me, I was in a situation where I wanted advice and I got it from a few friends, and the more opinions I got, the more it clouded my judgment. So what I've been practicing lately, and just slowly over time, I've learned, I keep reminding, you know how you have to learn the same lesson over and over again to really have it set in stone? I now am just very much aware, no, when it comes to dating, I'm going to be intuitive. I'm going to listen to myself because only I know the connection and only me and the guy know what's going on here. So I can't get others' opinions. Oh, don't respond yet. Make him wait. All that stuff is just like, it's unnecessary. You need to be intuitive enough to go with what you feel is right for you. And who cares what he thinks? If it doesn't work for me, then goodbye. But if it does work for me, I don't want to have all of these outside opinions cloud my judgment, and then I'm too overthinky, and then I'm not like confident in my own abilities, and then they can kind of feel that energy, if that makes sense. So back to being authentic to yourself. Anybody that is truly authentic and in their own, they're feeling themselves, they're confident, they're gonna have a very, very abundant life because people are just magnetized towards people that are authentic because it screams confidence. And if you are around somebody who's just really genuinely okay with themselves and actually love themselves, you want to be around them more because it tells me that they're confident, and it's like, okay, maybe I can learn something from them because if they've got it figured out, what do they have that I don't have? You're going to be magnetic all around. It's kind of like when you see certain influencers and you can just tell they're trying way too hard. It's not natural for them at all. They're speaking in a voice that is like the influencer voice. Honestly, I'm guilty of it too. Like when I film Instagram stories of like PR stuff, sometimes I do that annoying voice, but when I hear other people do it, it's so annoying. And even like, okay, I don't know why, but I have this ick when I watch videos of influencers or just anybody online. They're eating while talking. It's like, okay, you propped up the camera, you decided you were going to talk about this topic and you're eating chips. Like, just wait till after. And I feel like it's like them thinking they're being so relatable. Oh, look at me, I eat chips too. But it's like you're trying so hard to be natural that it's just too try hard, if that makes sense. But do you know what I mean? Certain people, the way they talk, they're not being authentically themselves, and that reeks everywhere. Your energy screams louder than anything you're saying. You can tell when somebody's not okay with themselves. If they're trying way too hard to do what's trending or acting a certain way, it's just, you just know that that's not really them. So you want to just turn it off immediately because it just reeks of insecurity. And who wants to take advice from somebody who's insecure? Not me praying that nobody's thinking that about me as they're watching me, but whatever, I gotta do me, right? If it doesn't work for you, that's okay. And that brings me to my next point is rejection is so not personal. Think of them in not even just romantic stuff, even just with people in general. 100% I guarantee you could name somebody right now that you don't like and you have no idea why. Like, okay, there's certain people where, okay, I don't like her because she's kind of pick me, that you can explain it. But I definitely have certain people, for no reason, I just don't like them. And you can't even put your finger on it. And it's weird, but it just tells me that it's not really personal. I just, for no reason, my energy doesn't match with theirs. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It's not like they're mean or negative. I can't put my finger on it. You just, for no reason, don't like. So sometimes you don't click with people, but if you are authentically yourself, you're going to naturally align to people, or even if you're an influencer, you're going to attract certain audiences that do align with you and they appreciate and love your content. So being authentically yourself is so important. Loving yourself, love is the most contagious thing in the world. The one thing that humans crave more than anything in the world is love. So if you radiate love, you love yourself, it's just gonna come off and people are gonna be drawn to you. So yeah, you really gotta stop overly caring too much what people think because they don't know you, they don't know your story, and why are you giving them the power to be the judge of your life? I know it's hard, but really the answer to this entire video is it's not going to be overnight. You have to become your own best friend. And if you are upset by something or something happens, you got to work on that inner voice, talking yourself through it. Okay, I'm triggered right now. I wonder why I'm triggered. Okay, maybe it's because of that, because secretly I'm a little bit insecure about that. So let's work on that. But you know what? I'm not going to be hard on myself because I love myself. I know that I'm human and it's never as bad. Like, you have a magnetizing glass on your own life. Nobody else really cares. Nobody cares about anything about them except for themselves, to be honest. So being hard on yourself is doing a huge disservice because no one cares. The only person that cares is you. So you need to stop letting the outside world bring you down so much, because that's just wrecking your progress. That's like Super Mario Kart when there's the bananas. It's putting a bunch of bananas on the road and then you swivel off and then, okay, you get back up, but you're behind now. So get those bananas out of your path, aka opinions of others or outside pressure. Just get it out of the way. Have blinders on, go on a straight path, and if you have a speed bump, know how to talk yourself out of it. And I know it's going to feel weird at first, but the more you get better at talking yourself out of it, the faster you're going to be able to just glide right through life and live your best life. Being able to look inside yourself and really just take instructions from yourself. Beating to the beat of your own drum. Dancing to the beat of your own drum. That's the saying. Because only you know what makes you feel good. So having the outside noise is such a distraction. Yes, we can get inspiration if it makes us feel good. You know how the whole trend of like, oh, anti-influencer, that world, I don't agree with that whatsoever. It's just negative. It's kind of, to me, it's like war. It's like, this isn't adding anything positive. But there is a part of it that is a good message, is comparing yourself. If you find yourself comparing your life to somebody and it's making you feel bad, definitely unfollow them. For me personally, I have certain accounts, you know what, I'll be honest, there's certain times where it's like, oh, that influencer is doing so much more than me. Like I'll compare it on an influencer level sort of, or romantically or financially, vacation wise. I'm human, I'm gonna compare myself, but there's a fine line of, okay, is this inspiration and goals? Because if she can do it, I can do it, or is this really putting me down? Because that's where you can't look at it. You have to kind of quiet the noise. If somebody makes you feel like you want to compare too much, first of all, that means look into yourself and let's fix that problem. But if they trigger you that much, it's probably time to mute or unfollow, because again, you're only human. That's the part of this equation, is talking yourself out of it and not being hard on yourself for feeling triggered. You're not going to 100% always feel confident and great and, oh, life is good. There's going to be moments where you're not going to feel great about yourself. Even the most successful people in the world, they have moments where they don't feel great about themselves. It's human nature, but having the skill set to be able to talk yourself through it and not care so much. There's nothing more icky than somebody that tries too hard. It's like, yeah, again, back to the dating example, a guy that is so desperate for you and just like, ew, you feel like you could tell them to do 10 jumping jacks and they would on the spot. I mean, to be honest, there's a fine line. Sometimes it's like, okay, that's sweet, they want to impress me. But there's a line, there's an energy flip where it's like they need you, you know? And yeah, just people or friendships, certain people that are way too desperate to be in your life, it's like, it's not attractive. It's just human nature. So it's kind of a gut feeling thing, and certain people that don't have the ability to judge that, it tells me that, yeah, they're so not self-aware and they're not in touch with their higher selves or their spiritual selves or God. You know, some people just need to be quiet for a little bit and listen and really pick up on how you're feeling, instead of needing validation or needing something out there to fill you up. It's never going to be sustainable. It's not attractive, and you're going to be confused and not go on the path of what you're really aligned with. You have to trust in your path, trust in your opinions. And again, it's kind of like easier said than done, but the only way to build this is with time. How do you build any relationship? With time, with care, listening to the person, being there for them, loving them. So you have to do that with yourself. And it's gonna take a while to quiet down that voice, but once you do, it's gonna get so much easier. And be open enough, if something from outside brings you down, be self-aware enough to look at the facts. Okay, why am I upset about this? Okay, that's the reason why. Maybe I don't like this about myself. That's okay, you're human. Be kind to yourself and don't feel even worse about that. You're only human. We're all in this together. So loving yourself is the key to all of this. And blocking the outside noise. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed today's topic. I'm Sophia Pearson. You can find me on all my social medias at Sophia Pearson. We'll see you guys next week on Self-Care Sundays with Sophia. Bye.